Hey everybody, welcome to Docu-Commentary, which, of course, is a very popular and well-known YouTube show, so I won't have to explain it to you. Just kidding. No one knows what this shit is. It's me, Travis Nelson, and your co-host...
Chase Myers.
Both comedians, both funnier than you can understand.
You'll never get it.
You'll never get it. And we are leaving commentary tracks for great documentaries, so you can go back and watch your favorite documentaries, but this time... with a little bit of a commentary track. How about that? It's kind of fun.
Yeah. We don't, teach you anything about the stuff. We don't know any, backstage gossips of any of these documentaries or anything. But we say funny things as the documentary goes on.
Yeah, the experience is really just supposed to be as if you were hanging out in our living room watching these documentaries with us. And, sometimes you're going to be annoyed. We're annoying people.
Hey man, you hang out with somebody for 2 hours, all right? There's gonna be moments.
I'm gonna rub you the wrong way every once in a while, but that's what having friends is. So open yourself up to the world, clean yourself off, you dirty docu-commentarians. Chase,
that's what friends are for.
What is the word, baby bird?
Man, I'm excited about this one. So this week we're watching WeWork. I like the title of this. It's WeWork, or the making and breaking of a $47 billion unicorn.
I like when they give you an option.
Yeah, that's a good move. So I know a lot about this story. I have actually listened to 2 different journalistic podcasts about this story. Wondery has a great one called We Crashed, and Bloomberg actually has a good one.
Is this about you?
This is about me.
Oh, wow.
This is the story of me.
For real, though, I do have a question. Is this a Seattle company?
No.
I know they are in Seattle because there's a big WeWork sign when you drive on the highway.
So it's going to be a story here. I'll read the description real quick. WeWork, or the making and breaking of a $47 billion unicorn, takes a look at the community-centric ideal that sent the little co-working venture skyrocketing, and then investigates what was really going on behind the scenes.
So it seems to me, just on its face, to be another amazing story of who I assume are just people who think that they have amazing intellectual abilities and that they're thinking in like a fourth dimension, but in reality they're just big dum-dums and they waste everyone's money and everything falls apart.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. This guy, he's definitely got a Jesus complex, so definitely get into that. He definitely thinks that he's can solve the world through renting out office space, which is a weird thing. I mean,
if you got to make up your own personal mythology, why not make it epic?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But the thing that I really like about this story is that most of the time when these huge companies go bankrupt or go down, it's because there was fraud involved. Dudes skimming money or lying about how much they actually have. This is a dude who legitimately got a bunch of investments. The money was real, and he just continued to make very dumb decisions until he broke the $47 billion unicorn that was WeWork.
Well, this is going to bother me immensely. Let's do it.
It's going to be so good. All right. So this is actually on Hulu. This is our first Hulu one. We've been expanding out.
Is it? I thought we'd done a Hulu.
Oh, you know what? Because when we did the Fire documentaries, we did the Netflix and the Hulu version.
Oh, yeah, so that's what it was.
There has been at least that. But yeah, Netflix, you don't run us. All right, so I'm gonna hit play. I'm gonna try to count it down, but who knows what'll happen. So
I will let you know exactly when it starts playing. Trust me.
Do not trust me.
Chase is willy-nilly. You trust me. You trust this voice.
3, 2, 1. And I hit play. It's buffering a little bit.
See, that's why.
Oh, it's taking a sweet time.
We're going to get a commercial here.
So that's
Hulu.
Hulu's going to hit us with a 1.5-minute commercial.
All right.
So probably going to just cut this out, I'd imagine. Or what do you think? Keep it in there? We watch a progressive commercial and leave a commentary track over a progressive commercial.
Yeah, there is a pretty good chance I just forget that we did this.
Yeah,
and you guys get to listen to now 1 minute and 10 seconds of me and Chase riffing over this stupid progressive commercial.
I tell you what, I don't need Jamie in the progressive commercials. I'm happy with Flo. All right, I think we here, baby. So as far as I remember, I don't think it should do commercials in between it. I think it was just you get that up top and then you're good.
My eyes are a little swelling to the right. you sure? Okay.
Oh, you ready to meet our hero?
Oh man,
Because you're gonna get him immediately.
Who's gonna do each one?
I got annoyed by the whole start thing. We had to wait for the commercial, and then I hate him already.
And there he is, baby. And this is one of those documentaries that, I mean, like, obviously this is September of 2019. So it's one of those that go, like, pretty close to up to, like, where we are now.
First seat, commodity, to an experiential, differentiated real estate is going through a fundamental shift from a must-have. It's a mouthful.
You choking, bro.
To a must.
Yeah, I mean,
I can do it.
can you just? I always wonder with people, like, how weak is your bullshit meter that you can't walk into a room and be like, this dude belongs in a kindergarten.
Right.
From a fixed cost per seat. We'll clean it up. I think we're great, and I think we're preparing for the roadshow right now. Sorry.
Guys, I need everyone to calm down. Be very serious. I gotta rip this fart right quick.
Just let the air out.
WeWork is garnering questions about its business model.
There are all kinds of things that just pop out as red flags in this.
It feels like it's valued as a tech company.
So I
This is a real estate
think they get into it. I'm pretty sure. But this video was shot, like, literally
Evaluations in your
days before everything went to shit.
Okay,
Which kind of
like
feeds in.
pandemic was.
No. For his company.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's inclined to believe you.
Start from the top. Okay, I got it.
How old is this guy?
Like our age.
Oh my god.
Maybe a couple years older. 30, like mid-30s at most. You pick. What you want to call it?
Social media companies promised us that technology will bring us together.
And they lied.
Well, I gotta tell you, around the world right now, and I actually feel like a lot of times technology is pulling us apart.
Oh yeah. I don't know where you got that from.
The secret of success, in our opinion, is it's about real connection. It's about treating other people the way you want to be treated. It's about being part of something greater than yourself.
Yeah, you hear that bullshit?
Yeah, he's painting it on pretty thick.
Let's never forget that the future, while leveraging technology, lies in ourselves.
Lives in me and the company I ruined.
Path forward, paved not with algorithms, not with software, but with values,
But with desk.
with common goals,
Oh no.
with humanity.
Is this part of it? They hug each other?
There is a retreat element to it. They'll get into it.
Restoring each one of us
But yeah, he definitely had like a let's make this a party thing too. That's part of it as well.
cannot be achieved.
Not in generations has Wall Street absorbed the number of body blows it took today. The American financial system is rocked to its foundation as top wall.
Oh, look at you.
After 2008, 2009, you had this really interesting period in U.S. economic
Atlantic, I respect that publication.
within a recession, and we were looking for some way to get out of it. We were looking for hope, and hope was found in technology. And people were like, "That's the future. Tech is the future. It's going to be the lifeline that pulls us out of these doldrums." And at the time, you had a lot of sort of tech boostrism and techno-optimism. The idea was not just that these companies were going to become dominant.
Techno-fascists.
They were there too, man. Where there's techno optimism,
Sure, if human
there's techno fascists. There's the leader right there. Techno fascism.
could articulate a vision of your company that wasn't just going to make money, it was going to change the world.
Bunch of fucking douchebags.
Yeah, that's what that dude really learned to do was to state renting. Oh yeah, he's probably about to give to you.
Yeah.
Are we starting? Okay, you got it. He's not in your picture. He's not in your frame. We work as a community. Who do you want me to look at? You or the taking this side? We go to the details here. We focus on a lot of details. We work as a
Adam arrived in New York like many immigrants, ready to hustle, full of ideas, and like many who come to New York before him, they didn't really work. He had this idea called crawlers, which was for babies so they could have padded knees.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Been doing fine for millions of years.
Protect those baby knees.
Tagline was just because they don't tell you doesn't mean they don't hurt you.
Wow.
Couch surfing with his sister, who's had some success as a model.
That's his sister?
This is what you get.
And I think Adam really loves the New York lifestyle, the nightlife, but professionally he's kind of a dilettante.
I'm working in
A what?
It's a dilettante, Chase.
architect whose name is
Just a common word.
Yeah, man. It's a big New York word. Don't ask me to
I would never.
I have no idea what that word means. That word to me is a vibe that I can't describe.
Oh, so that's the co-creator dude on the left. That guy. Who's not as douchey.
change the way people work. That's based on community and redefine success.
And from minute one with their partnership, it was Miguel who was Mr. Inside and Adam was Mr. Outside.
The world is used to be an I world, right? iPhone, iMac, all about me, me.
Dog.
But now,
You get the we. You understand that?
we.
The way people work and the way people live, but more importantly, change the world.
Can't change the world, bro.
The kibbutz, a working collective in a free society. Invented, unique, contemporary, the most important social experiment of the last 100 years.
Every great business has a founding story. WeWork is excellent. You have Adam and Miguel.
I hate founding stories, bro.
Grew up in communes, one in Oregon and one in Israel in the kibbutz, and they wound up together with this idea that they're going to create big work commune.
When we thought of WeWork, one of the thoughts
Hey, man. All communes work out. If I know anything from
First couple weeks are great.
the 20 documentaries I've seen about communes, it's always on the up and up.
Boiled down and distilled, and as the company evolves, the founding story evolves. But their founding narrative actually really did translate to a lot of their early business success.
I mean, co-working, as we think of it now, didn't really exist at the time.
Before WeWork, the real big player was Regis.
Welcome to Regis, the new way to work.
You know Adam Neumann.
Solution for today's rapidly changing face of business.
I need a nervous Israeli to sell me on the world.
Cubicles of dull colors, and walking into a Regis was like walking into the back of a dentist's office.
we started by taking buildings, we cut them up to small spaces. We built everything from glass, so it's very communal, it's very see-through and transparent. We put in common spaces, and we basically created a community of small businesses, entrepreneurs, and freelancers. And in that community, people are almost forced to help other people. And when you have a business community that's
Nah, bro.
these kind of moral standards, everybody becomes more successful.
I mean, don't shit on him. It still makes sense. It seems like this business could work. We haven't seen why it doesn't work yet, so you got to stop just shitting on him because I'm still trying to figure out what they're trying to do.
Oh, the business model is actually not bad. It's just he's crazy.
Yeah.
I more so mean if I was sitting in an office of other entrepreneurs and I'm trying to write a script, I'm probably not going to pitch in to help.
Bullshit, dog. I guarantee Lupita would sit into the cubicle right next to you.
Well, that's different. That's my weakness.
Yeah.
I'm launching this concept called WeWork. You should come and take a look.
But yeah, I mean, you can tell me you're going to work in one of those and there's not going to be a Lupita there? Come on.
There's always one.
Sorry, she listens to this. There's only one Lupita. I've never met you, but
I still have this email that Adam sent to me at 1 o'clock in the morning, the night before my first morning. I woke up at 8 a.m. to an email that said, "Good morning, period. Let's build the largest networking community on the planet." And not even a period at the end. I showed up and we were in 3 weeks.
I love when people read into shit like that.
Where we opened the first half of one of the floors in our first building.
Like, to me, that's like, yeah, that dude's on Adderall.
And when I started on that first day, Adam said, I want to open in 3 weeks, and I want to be full with a wait list. And we were off to the races from the very beginning.
Well, I want to talk to the investors. I don't know who they are and where they're at, but they're looking at this. I want them to feel that I'm talking to them. And them to them. This is
Oh man, yeah, you can just already tell he's gonna fuck the whole thing up.
okay.
He already is.
Hey guys, this is WeWork, the world's first physical social network. Our mission is to empower the world through collaboration. We know that the future of the world is in small business, not in corporate America. So we're building a community that's transparent and that's accountable. That is WeWork.
Let's get that money.
Patrick here, and I wanted to give you
Damn.
a tour of my WeWork office.
I moved into a new office space called WeWork. What I really like about WeWork, we can like work wherever. It's just like a good environment to be in.
They were saying that
Dude, no.
Fuck, dude.
were founded in garage.
I would fight that guy.
Oh,
first day.
absolutely. I'm breaking that over my knee.
There it is. That's my new space.
Yeah, the thing that made WeWork more special or more attractive was just its marketing, right?
Says do what you love.
Our friends who were doing their
Yeah, that's like every bad hotel I stay at.
we didn't even consider any other co-working space. The thinking was if you have a tech startup and you wanted to be successful, you started at a WeWork.
I love co-working spaces so much.
Yeah, also, like, if you own a business and you bring a client in to your office and that's the office, it looks like, holy shit, something's happening here. you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. We all want to raise $10 billion.
I'm the founder of brunchcritic.com.
Our
What?
company is Smile Back.
Flameouts.
Consumer. Handshake.
Wi-Fi.
The founder of TravisNelsonComedy.com.
Bucketsofduckets.com.
WeWork embodied an optimism and this millennial
Did it
excitement
say optimism or alcoholism?
how to do things
Both.
Yeah, dude, yeah, I love the version when everyone's just drunk the whole
Yeah.
time.
against the office culture set by the 80s and 90s.
Ugh.
It was almost like somehow being a member of a club beyond just where your office building.
Man,
The word hustle makes me angry.
I was about to say, I hate the word hustle.
Today and you're out of college, you can't go and work
Every comic I've ever met who's like on their hustle or on their grind, it's like
in different business.
you just look at them with sad eyes, like, oh, you poor thing.
You poor son of a bitch.
Actually growing.
Very.
We're talking about probably one of the fastest physical expansions that has been seen for the past 10 years.
When I got introduced to Adam through a friend, I came in, well, I didn't even know the company WeWork ever existed. He went right to the point. He's like, look, we don't have a lot of time. I have a campground upstate. I want to host an event. I need you to help me. I believe that you can help me. And then he told me the budget, and I said, well, your budget's not too great. I don't know how I'm, going to really pull this off and make a couple dollars. He said, don't worry, we're going to grow, we're going to be big, you're going to stay with us, you're going to do a lot of work with us.
That's what they always say.
You'll see. Something about him stood out. I couldn't put my finger on it, but
Arrogance?
very convincing guy. He's got a big personality, and I walked out of that meeting, I said, okay, I'll make it happen. We pulled every favor from equipment to performers, and within a couple weeks produced what's now become WeWork Summer Camp.
What?
In a WeWorld, thanks to you, things have been going very well.
Oh, it's a fire festival thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Except for it actually works. Like,
Weekend rager.
yeah, so like once a year they have this summer camp where all the employees of all the WeWorks
Oh, I mean,
go and get drunk and
Members that we
have there's concerts and all kind of shit.
yeah, I would never go to that, but I could see how that might be fun.
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
It was rad activity.
Oh my gosh, there's been so much fun stuff to do.
I just did these obstacles to really challenge me. I was contemplating life up there.
I think they're trying to kill us.
I was just wakeboarding, water skiing, and tubing. Hit my head really hard and then had to lay down and drink coconut water afterwards.
They almost took over like
What?
4 times, and I had to afterwards.
The doctor prescribed me to lay down and drink coconut water.
He thinks I have a concussion. I'm gonna go ahead and take a nap.
WeWork Summer Camp, I think, really kicked off the entire event side of the company, which became one of the most well-known, elements of what WeWork was.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. People are lonely.
I think that was probably, I don't want to state it, like the 10th lawyer at WeWork. And it was just an amazing, amazing culture. The people were great. I think they shared the same values I did, right? They basically had, it was like a work hard, play hard, and
Hustle, bro.
Hustle. Grind.
totally different from that at a white shoe law firm. And that's because of the company event. I mean, it is legitimately the craziest work experience you'll ever have in your life.
Yeah, I don't think that's a work experience.
Are serving alcohol. When I say they're serving alcohol, they are serving alcohol. Like every 50 yards, there's like a bar set up, and it's unlimited. Like if you wanted to drink,
Just me drunk on Molly at a rave. Like, I'm networking. This is the craziest business event I've ever been to.
during the day, you listen to presentations, speeches. It was so spicy.
Yeah,
Ashton
Ashton Kutcher
Kutcher?
is always there, bro. He is always at these these type of startups. He seems to be early to all of these. Like, he was a big Uber guy early too.
And he saw a lot of movies like Animal House,
It's a good sweater.
and The Gong Show. So a lot of the WeWork space, there was a gong, and a lot of big events, somebody hit a gong.
Man, I don't like to be around gongs.
Heads of beer. It's beautiful young people. Co-workers got along there amazing. Like you met people from all over the world.
If I go into a room with a gong, it's just like, okay, great. I guess I'm going to be surprised here pretty soon because someone's going to hit that gong. It's going to startle me.
Woo!
Oh, man. All right, everybody get drunk and listen to him talk. That'll make it
Yeah.
easier.
That's always the thing. That's always the thing I look for with these startup stuff is whenever they say we're gonna change the world, and what if we make a little money while we do it? That is always some evil shit. Anytime they're always like, now if I help you out, why do you care if I make a bunch of money? Don't you think that I
Exactly.
should? I'm like, well, because I don't think you're actually helping me out.
Yeah. It's like your boss being like, I pay you a wage. You don't.
Truly could not believe I was there.
I'm helping you out.
My first job was at a hedge fund, and I was an executive assistant there. Like I had moved to New York to find my dreams, and here I was, really, really kind of lost. The friend reached out to me and said, "I have a friend who has a startup who's looking for an assistant. Are you interested?" And I got connected to Adam. I walked in, and Adam was super casual, very laid back, very charismatic from the moment I saw him. And he's very tall, and so
Bro, I really think it's just the tall.
It probably is.
and he's also really, really, he's really friendly.
I think he just walks up all tall and smiley and says we're gonna take over the world, and people like that, you know. Like we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm realizing that's what I've done my
Yeah.
entire life.
You're a little more negative though.
That is true.
Yeah. You gotta start preaching positivity, man. Things might pop off.
You're right, man. That's been what's setting me back.
Get out there and say your comedy's gonna change the world, and if we all laugh together, we can change the world together.
Yeah.
This is not just
So we're gonna fill up an arena of laughter.
And you know what? What if we make a little money
And what
on
if
the
we
way?
make a little money while people laugh? What's so wrong about that?
Nothing wrong with that.
it just really spoke to me, and I felt changed from that moment.
Get a beard, bro. Long hair and no beard is a weird look.
It is a bit weird.
And they don't just want a career. They want a calling.
They want water with slices of cucumber and orange in it.
He assumed that everybody was achieving their calling by participating in WeWork.
He'll go down as one of the most incredible salesmen in the world because he can get anyone to do whatever it is that he wants them to do.
No, I don't think so.
He's very tall.
Places until I moved to the US when I was 23. And I had to go through many different communities. Every time you go to a new school as a kid, it's not an easy thing.
Adam's worldview was heavily shaped by this kind of nomadic childhood and a desire to belong. What he always wanted was to kind of be part of this sum is greater than the parts collective, where he still is kind of the center of attention.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Company event. Adam comes out. The lights are down. The strobe lights are going. The crazy graphics are going.
Please welcome WeWork co-founder and CEO, Adam.
Yeah, you notice the other dude is just not around. He's
Yeah,
just
I've
actually
noticed that.
working and
Spiritual or religious people who think they can cure like the plague by touching your head. Like he literally had people brought in, and he grabs in a room like that.
You're a creator.
What?
And you're a creator, and I know you're a creator. And the reason we're all creators is because we do something that's great.
I think that dude's going to the bathroom. Crossbow.
Yeah.
Passionate about something, it's really difficult to not let that soak over me. You could not help but drink in.
Yes, you could. Dude, I hate this shit. I hate whenever people are just, they do dumb things when they try to act like, it's just, I couldn't even be, like, that Jeffrey Toobin dude who masturbated on the Zoom camera, and then
Yeah.
they put him back on air, and they were just like, yeah, Jeffrey masturbated on Zoom, didn't you? And he was like, boy, I learned a lot.
Boy, I sure did. Got really
like-
wrapped up in it, you
I
know?
don't think that guy should go to jail, but I don't think he should keep his job. Like, who else gets to keep their job after they fucking whip their dick?
Well, he had a couple months off to think about it.
It's like, can we just agree that that person is, like, yeah, you made a mistake, but you're dumb enough that you shouldn't be trusted with certain things. That woman is an executive assistant. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Or executive administrator, but I know it has executive, so it means she's getting paid a lot.
When you're there, you get down with what people are doing.
Everybody hit the gong.
I mean, how many cult movies have we watched like this where just all the people get paraded in and they do the things and it's just like a hypnotism act?
What WeWork created was this environment
You want to get there early. That's all I know. That's what I've learned.
celebrating life with meaning. The world is a dark place, and this little cave of WeWork was my happy spot.
Pathetic.
Anything you want. It's just you.
By the way, so many white people.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
bring
a
that up.
sea of whiteys.
And there was an older usher there. And it was an African American guy. And
And he was like, this shit's crazy.
questions. And he's like, you know, what's the company about? What do you do there? And, you know, I'm answering his questions. We're going on and on. And he just kind of changed his tone of voice and he kind of looked down on me a little bit. And he was like, brother, can I ask you a serious question? I was like, yeah, sure. Ask me the question. He says, is this some kind of cult?
Yeah, bro. See, the fucking the usher knew. He was there watching the same thing. Like, dude, I don't understand why we let these people off the hook.
Everybody was having within the We community. So then a friend of mine who works for WeWork called me up and said, look, WeWork is doing this new thing. I can't tell you anything about it right now. It's going to be for the coolest people in New York, and I promise you are going to want to be a part of it. Are you willing to break your lease to do this new WeWork venture?
Yeah, dude, I love cool people in New York.
Can I have a couple days? And she said, no, you can't have a couple days. I need to know right now, are you willing to break your lease for this? And I said, I guess, yeah, reluctantly. I said, yeah, I will do it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot where he's going.
What is this?
I got got this invitation for what looked like Eyes Wide Shut, that Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Like, non-informational whatsoever. A time, a place, a date, and that's it. You know, I'll see you there, basically. So, Jesus, okay. So I show up, and Adam Neumann was there at this initial thing. And
Heard of him.
500 people in this room, and they revealed what was going on. WeWork is starting We Live.
What?
That is all about this new way of living.
Yeah, bro.
We had a very
Is this how he tanked the company?
Yeah, kind of. Because he keeps
I believe
trying to expand whenever he had just a very simple, easy, like successful. You know how easy it is to sell a desk and all those room, like how much money you're making, like when each desk is literally rented, and that like that's a good business thing.
Yeah.
He had a good brand around it.
why
But yeah, so he starts trying to go out and they're like, all right, we're going to start making apartments. Or we're going to,
anything about We Live. So I was essentially writing a book report for a book that I hadn't read.
I love Community.
Like, all I have to say is wow. So I wrote way too long of an essay than I needed to, and shortly after that, I was accepted.
Name your son August.
His last name is Yerbish.
I totally was sleeping on the Yerbish.
Bag, like drifter, and walked into the space, and it was stunning. It was beautiful. You walked in and everything was perfect.
I've stayed in some of those places. Those places are weird.
I moved into We Live because I was one of the first members to be a beta tester.
You ever stay at like a pod hotel?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they're really weird, man.
Drastically reduced price. I had designed the space with my colleagues, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity. And it was really cool because you were living in this brand new living situation.
The Murphy bed was built into the couch.
Yeah, there's definitely parts of this that I'm like, this is cool. Like, I could see, like, how the shit works. It's just
It had been 200 square feet.
motherfucker going crazy with the ego stuff.
Good day. But it was all about. I think the initial group of people definitely fit a certain criteria. I mean, beyond being young with no actual responsibilities.
A lot of single people. Everybody was single. We actually had a saying that everything had to be designed to hold the weight of two people.
Guess what all those people had in common was the ability to pause their personal lives to try out this new thing.
They appeal to the same WeWork generation.
Just walking around giving back rubs, huh?
Who worked at WeWork, who lived at We Live at the time.
Hey, you guys ever heard of college dorms?
Right.
But for 30-year-olds?
Yeah, this one's in New York, though, bro.
It was weird if someone left the building. If someone were like, hey, I'm going to a friend's birthday party, and the very common next question is, oh, which floor is it on?
That's one of the benefits of co-living is you move in, you get friends automatically, you spend time with them, so it becomes your whole social circle.
It all felt like everybody.
Can you imagine me moving into one of those?
Oh, dude, you would lose your fucking mind.
Just
I mean, I wouldn't be able to handle it either. Like,
enemies with 500
Yeah.
people living in the same building?
Yeah, I wouldn't have as much, like, shit with people as you do, but I would definitely get annoyed with not, like not being private enough. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking walk down.
If I don't know you and you try to give me a back rub, I'm taking one of your fingers.
I don't want to eat dinner with 25 people every night. Like,
No, man.
Yeah.
I don't like watching people eat at all.
Right.
Unicorn. Unicorn is a company valued at $1 billion.
Oh, man.
That one
Show me that unicorn.
unicorn that can return.
Let me see it.
That's how you're going to make a lot of money as a venture capitalist. So the entire world of venture capital basically is on a unicorn. Finding the next Uber, finding the next Facebook,
There it is.
next Google. That's going to make you a billionaire just by picking and betting on the right horse. In this case, the right unicorn.
I'll allow it.
When WeWork was in its major year growth period, there were a lot of big players who saw the potential. venture capital firms saw this as a really great growth play. We had to move fast.
I liked you immediately. Adam's just a charming, charismatic person who is very persuasive to a lot of people.
In many ways, for investors, WeWork was the future of
I don't see it.
became this poster child, this growing trend of flexible offices.
Yeah, you could look him in his eyes, so
Yeah,
he wouldn't
exactly.
like having you around.
No, man.
You're missing out. They had seen what venture capital firms had reaped with all these.
Smell the dumb on him.
For many people,
Yeah, what's crazy? Look, the other dude's tall too.
Basically getting interest from seed investors who were thinking, oh, this is a small company.
And one of the podcasts I listened to, they mentioned they were interviewing somebody that worked there, and they were like, yeah, that's how different Adam's personality is it took me working there for like a year to realize that other dude was actually taller than him.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Second, there's $1 billion startup in New York that everybody wants to be a part of, and nobody has a sense of how big it is yet. And so that's when I started spending a lot of time with Adam to try to understand the company.
Chase is sneaking a beer from the fridge, so I'm vamping at the moment. Wow, a wee woo, 1.6 billion. It's Chase is coming to save it.
Oh God, I'm sorry guys. I didn't know he was gonna get all golly on you. I didn't know.
I get silly real fast. Gotta hold me down, bud.
There's a caveat to that, which is you have to have incredibly sharp elbows, and you have to play for keeps.
It is male-dominated businesses, portfolios, a lot of familial wealth in the city. It is shark eat shark.
What's up, Kushners?
The Rose,
Bunch of bastards.
Rex, and the Kushners, and even the Trumps. It's not right.
But not really though, right? Because he's actually kind of broke.
That once you're in and you establish a beachhead, you're in.
So it's almost like you're a real estate company wrapped in this sort of in this tech sheen.
so definitely not a real estate company.
You're definitely a real estate company, bro.
Environment for entrepreneurs and freelancers. We leverage technology to connect people.
Where's the technology?
Just like Uber is destroying
Yeah, so is he trying to, like, what?
we're destroying a code for space.
Is he just trying to stay out of real estate?
Buy the property.
He knows that people buy into tech companies more. So he's trying to position as if this is this futuristic.
I see.
Like, yeah.
The connections that happen between our members.
I saw what he was doing. I made a judgment as to this man's leadership capabilities, which are truly extraordinary, okay?
No, they're not.
And
Dude.
It's a great concept, and it's continuing to explore.
Concept is good.
Discuss buildings
That guy's out of his mind.
in a new way. That was an insight that no one else had. And you know, they're validated by the smartest people in real estate being like, wow, that was a really interesting idea. It may be really risky, but it's an interesting idea.
I got a lot of interesting ideas, and I'm tall. I got to get into this venture
Get out there,
capitalism.
bro.
And Boston Properties were all on board with this idea. It was validating to the establishment, and it was also validating to Wall Street. You know, J.P. Morgan leads a large investment in WeWork.
Adam loves to name drop to people, and I mean, Jamie Dimon is the world's top baker, and he would tell people,
Bet you're a real piece of shit, Jamie.
Oh, has to be, right?
They started to consume every
$5 billion.
many office spaces
Wow.
in many neighborhoods as possible. It became a literal land grab.
Yeah, he moved pretty quick too. That's the other thing. Is he just immediately started expanding? Like,
The largest lessee of office space in all New York City.
I don't know why we gotta watch disgusting.
Yeah, I'm
people
really
eat,
struggling with
but-
that. Not a mouth person.
Good afternoon, all of you. When we sat down at the beginning of this year to decide the agenda, the first name we put on the list and circled was Adam Neumann of WeWork, and you're about to see why. By the way, having lunch next to Adam and having him coach me on how we did the seating all wrong here was he 3 or 4 times. He was very.
But it bothers me because the center of energy in this room is right here and no one's sitting there. And it's right in front of us. And it's these little details that we pay attention to. This is what
The center of the energy in the room.
people sitting here facing the wrong direction. There's enough room for all of us to get closer.
And the last.
remember the very beginning.
What camera am I looking at?
And seeing Rebecca and looking at her and saying, "Your husband has an incredible."
Oh yeah, wait till you find out about his wife.
I know. It's why I married him.
More so who she's related to.
Okay.
Fuck. You're on drugs. Are you? No. What are you on right now?
Drugs.
Rebecca was Adam's wife, and she had an office with us because she was a filmmaker, an actress.
She is a cousin of Gwyneth Paltrow.
There it is.
Go far
Okay.
hearing about Rebecca or talking to Rebecca without that kind of coming up.
I went to a screening of a film that she created. We all went to this screening.
This is your entire life story?
That is my entire story.
No, it isn't.
It was interesting.
Means bad.
Yeah.
Helping in unofficial ways.
I meet my wife, I was 28, this was 10 years ago, and she looks at me and she goes,
Do you know Gwyneth Paltrow?
"You have a lot of potential, but right now, you're full of shit. You have potential.
She spotted it.
Full of shit. You, my friend, are full of shit. You have a lot of potential, but you're full of shit. Find your passion. Do something that actually changes the world. Bring those two together. I promise you, you'll have the best business you've ever imagined. I have to say, I did all of that, and Rebecca, I just want to say thank you. We're nothing without you. Well, thank you.
I would go to interview Adam. Rebecca was there for a lot of the interviews.
Sweetie, can I just say something? How do I pause this? You don't need this.
She was
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
about my intentions with the story.
It's going to make the neighborhood, period. WeWork is going to make the Lower East Side. You see.
Clearly, she had a lot of authority, but she was not considered at the time a co-founder. It's pretty clear that Rebecca's trying to sort of shape Adam or help him become this world leader type that he aspires to be and that she likes.
Amazing.
Yep. Just old simp at heart.
We all know.
I think that's the first time we said simp on this podcast.
Yeah, I want to break it out.
Good boy.
As it grows, they're gonna need us.
Do they ever interview her?
CEO.
No, I don't think so.
We've seen with other hard-driving CEOs and companies with a lot of hours that the culture can crumble. I was watching a video of yours where the typical Monday was described as arriving at 7 a.m. and going home at 3 a.m.
This Monday I finished at 2 a.m. Love it. It was a good Monday.
I thought I was going to work at WeWork for the rest of my life. I really thought that this was my lifetime career.
Really sold you on it, didn't he?
Yeah.
If you build an amazing culture, one that people...
So I guess there is something to that. There is something to like, if you are at the beginning of this company and you see that it's worth $5 billion, and you're like, fuck, this is like, I'm one of the first ones in at Amazon, or, like, I do kind of get those like early people being like, fuck, I'm going to hang on because this might not be long and I'll be rich. But
Grew the vision so that everyone could see that we could do more, hustle harder, hustle faster.
When somebody tells you they're changing the world and you are helping them do that, it feels special. It feels really
yeah, that's what you got to mix into your whatever you're going to do, is that you're going to change the world.
You
with
guys, we're changing the world together.
At that time, we were also being told, like, Adam told me I was going to be a millionaire.
it. Yeah, there it is.
People agreed to salaries less than they would make at somewhere else in a regular field or whatnot because you were given a salary and a certain value of stock option.
When your business has a mission,
Oh, good old stock options.
changing, and people can buy into the mission, then they're going to come in. Then they need the culture that they're going to enjoy. To create that culture, you got to put employees first. We've given every one of our employees equity, so everyone is a partner in this business, from the porter that cleans to the community manager to the CFO and COO of the company. Everyone is a partner.
Even that guy.
At Amazon, he worked in the warehouse. He was like the 40th person in. He became
Oh, man.
But the way the stock options worked was that's not really like what would happen.
Equity was kind of a buzzword. Adam would talk about it all the time. You all have equity in the company, which I don't think is quite true. If you have stock options, you don't actually own equity in the company. You own a security that gives you an option to buy equity in the company.
Yeah, there it is.
I would see that people didn't understand that you're taking and what you're getting. It's so exciting to feel like you own something that is so famous and so talked about. So that they can say like, oh, I have equity, but if somebody actually did the math, maybe their equity's worth like $2,000. You might think that the possibility of getting $1 million payout is far higher than it actually is.
All of us are getting $1 million. Look around.
Look how many of us there are. $1 million.
We're definitely all getting it.
WeWork onboarding meetings were on Monday morning, and everybody would come in, and then a presentation would begin. And the presentation was the mythology.
So she is the only one that is in both those podcasts I listen to and this documentary.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a reliable narrator.
Yeah, so she's been spinning these same stories to everybody.
To himself with a narration about community and support and loving one another. Then we get Miguel like walking through his compound and working. They didn't do that. That's what they should have done. They should have hired me for that. But anyway, you know, kind of this. But it's definitely like a couple of slides about WeWork, and then lots of slides about every single person at the C level.
At some point, they changed the organizational structure to have like mini CEOs in different regions.
What?
They call them CWOs. So,
Shut up.
I'm not kidding you, but look, I'm not referring to anybody as a CWO for my entire life.
Yeah, dude. No way. Remember that usher that was like, is this a cult?
It starts with allowing CWO to be a thing.
Everything about it was propaganda.
The tone deafness and lack of awareness to show these videos, it was incredible. Basically, you're the CEO, you had all the CEOs, and you really didn't see any minorities up in the higher end.
Yeah, I'm just white.
Period of hard stop.
The CEOs are people who just want to talk about their awesomeness. They have that very much in common with Adam. It was almost like you needed to know who was at the top, so when they came past, you could bow down to them.
Wow.
The events themselves really were meant to kind of like engender a loyalty to WeWork.
There would be like 50
I'll die for WeWork.
You'd be sitting in your office, and all of a sudden you hear chanting throughout the entire building.
Oh, I hate it.
We're all trying to do our work. It's deafening. The music and everything's screaming. Feel good and look good to their employees.
Oh, you idiots.
Yeah, bro, Rick Ross.
Of course Rick Ross is there.
The Weeknd performed at one of these too. I don't know if they show him on this, but I heard that at one of the podcasts.
Amazing.
This is The Weeknd did.
To put it mildly, they were cramped. The mantra we got from on top, and I specifically remember an all-company meeting where we were kind of told that we would be quadrupling up, quintupling up, sixing up. You don't need the corner office anymore. You don't need the house in your home anymore.
You need to smell your coworker's ass while you work.
Cram some more desk in here.
You know, I slide by Adam's office, and he's got a veritable palace in there. There's a little bit of hypocrisy to all this. You know,
Oh my God.
company speech was about, you know, taking some small steps to make sure that we save $1 million on the operating budget every year. And then Adam just bought a $60 million private jet, right? So, you know, you hear these and kind of wonder, like, what is the message that's being told, and how are people really living?
Yeah. He was a liar.
There was definitely a lot of chaos and lack of organization at WeWork.
You asshole.
Just
Because they're out.
dumb asshole.
So then eventually my supervisor writes his password on a post-it and he hands it to me. I used his login
Yeah. This is why she's in all of them.
so often that more than once I would click on his Gmail icon and end up opening his email on a rows of his email and then have to log back out of everything and have to log back in. And, you know, one day,
Whistleblower.
email caught my eye. And then sort of the rest, as they say, is history.
Amazing. Snoopy Snoop.
So I click on it, of course, and it's a list of people that he's gonna fire, and I'm on the list. But when you read further down in it, you realize that it's a mandate to cut 7% of their employees. Because WeWork was just flushing cash down the toilet.
Yeah.
Hemorrhaging money, so we had to cut jobs. He wrote something like, ha, bitches, I cut more than 7% of my team, because everybody's supposed to cut 7%. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
After I saw that email, I thought, well, he gave me his password. And so I went digging because I thought, okay, I know we're running out of money. Now they're laying people off. What's going on?
I love this lady.
Yeah. Yeah, she got in there, bro.
This is amazing. Yeah, fuck those people.
One of the documents that I find, it was obvious the information was not meant to be disseminated, but it showed that we had to adjust our revenue down by something like 80%.
That's doable.
Tell investors, they certainly were lying to every time they put out something in the media.
Are you actually turning a profit in the business? Definitely turning a profit. I'm bored of the businesses that don't turn a profit. I don't believe in them. I need a cash flow positive business.
And so I thought, well, I'll just give it to somebody in the media, and then it will go to the right place, and then they will be taken to task for it.
Yeah, Bloomberg. That's one of the ones. That's one of the podcasts. I think they're just called Foundering.
The person has broken the law, and that they're going to pursue this, and they kind of were trying to come off a bit as a victim in the league.
His wife creeps me out.
Yeah, she's got some dead eyes.
And a huge mouth, right?
Yeah.
It looks like she could fit her fist in her mouth.
Until they make it a bit and things are going to work out, will they grow up and kind of figure out these problems, or is this a runaway train? And then all of that gets kind of tossed out the window when just a few months later, SoftBank enters the picture.
Masa son.
Okay, you guys have 60 seconds left because I hear the money counting.
Masayoshi Son is the founder and CEO of SoftBank, a large holding company based out of Japan. Known as Masa, he is one of the richest people in Japan. In 2017, Masa raised the largest venture capital fund of all time. It's called the Vision Fund.
The size of the Vision Fund was unlike anything anyone had ever seen.
This dude makes money.
It was $100 billion. That essentially equated to several years worth of every U.S. venture capital fund. Put them all together, and it's around that size.
So when you told people you were going to raise $100 million fund, what was the vision that you actually gave them?
So, one vision, which is singularity. Singularity is the concept that in 30 years, computers, artificial intelligence, they will be smarter than us. That's my vision.
Boy, I can't wait.
For how technology will be used by society, and I think it also represents this massive existential threat where someday our creations will outstrip us and not need us, and we will be living lives.
Yeah, stop making those things.
So we are investing.
I mean, I don't know, bro. I say make all the robots, just make them dumb enough that they'll do all the work and we can, reap the benefits.
Yeah, they're not, though.
Wow.
And companies with the potential to morph into something to fit his vision of the future of the singularity. And Adam wanted WeWork to be part of this huge vision.
Yeah, but it's real estate, though.
Adam Neumann and Masa's son had met many times. However, Masa had always thought that WeWork was overvalued and
Why? Because it's just renting office space?
If I treat you the way I want to be treated, then we can actually make a difference and be successful.
But because of Adam Newman's charisma, Masa
I'm very tall.
to meet with Adam for this big 2-hour tour of headquarters. Adam has been preparing for this for weeks. And he's pacing around, watching his clock. 15 minutes goes by, no Masa. goes by. No Masa.
Power move.
Amazing.
A full hour goes by. He's still looking at his clock. Finally, Masa shows up.
Yeah.
Says, Adam, I'm so sorry. I'm late.
I move on my own time.
And they're going through WeWork. He's giving him the super speed tour. In exactly 12 minutes, Masa's son looks at his watch and he says, Adam, I'm so sorry, but I have to go.
See, I'm on time for other things.
Yeah.
But Masa said, if you'd like, you can fly with me to my next meeting.
Let me show you how real guys do it.
So Adam grabs his iPad with the whole WeWork SoftBank pitch, and they jump in the car. Adam pulls up his WeWork pitch, and Masa says, I don't need the pitch deck, let's just talk. Masa turns to Adam, and he says, Adam, let me ask you a question. In a fight, who wins, the smart guy or the crazy guy? And Adam says, the crazy guy. And he goes, you're right, but you're not crazy enough. You gotta be the crazy one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Think bigger.
What? I thought he already was crazy.
And Masa begins, doodling his vision for WeWork, this grand plan to take WeWork global.
Damn, this shit was almost global.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
$4 billion and said, go crazy.
$4 billion, bro.
Whoa.
He was about to go bankrupt. That lady had just leaked all the stuff about him spending crazy money, and then somebody hands him $4 billion.
Wow, that's so crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Infuriating.
Like, literally, if it happens a few months later, there might not even been a WeWork for him to have invested $4 billion in. Because, he's spending millions of dollars just to have a fucking adult summer camp and have Rick Ross come out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it's just this, it fails for the same reason it's been failing.
Yeah, basically. Just on a bigger scale now.
Wow.
And then, because he's so good with, media stuff, and he just, keeps showing up everywhere, Ashton Kutcher's right beside him and stuff.
Yeah, of course. How can you not agree to a man who stands next to Ashton Kutcher?
Right. That people just, they think they're like, oh, yeah, it's doing great. WeWork. I've heard about WeWork, and, it's one of those things people don't, look into. They just accepted.
I didn't think it would be as transformative as it ended up being.
With the SoftBank money, WeWork is able to massively accelerate global expansion plans. SoftBank unlocks Asia in a new way. This meets Adam's big ambitions.
I mean, the growth was insane. In the 2.5 years after WeWork, I negotiated more deals and spoke to more lawyers than I probably will the rest of my life.
Typically on a project, you want to make sure it's photography ready. You want it to look perfectly staged. You want to have a good first impression. When you go to a WeWork opening day of, they still be painting, there'd be ladders everywhere, people would be installing lights, the AC wouldn't be working.
Yeah, dude.
Because of the speed of everything, nothing was finished.
They'd be throwing it up as people were, moving in.
Wow.
It was just how many offices could open and how much you could say the offices were filled and how many people were in them. It's almost like car dealerships and craziness with getting the cars sold at the end of the month. Sales guy comes to me, it's the last day of the month, and, I really have to do this deal. It's 800 desks, it's going to help us to get to the goal. I look at the deal, and it's first 8 months free, and WeWork's building custom space, and the response was, get them in, they love it, they'll grow. And, I come to find out that the small company that can't afford to pay for the 800 seats for 8 months is Microsoft.
Get out of here.
Edge that they might have been bringing to negotiations is gone. Plus, of course, everyone talks. And so if everyone knows that SoftBank has given these guys a ton of money, are you really going to let them cry poor or drive a really hard bargain? You're going to say, no, you guys have billions of dollars, let us in.
A ship of states, all the employees, all the tenants, the customers, all the partners were leaning on Adam. Again, even Miguel, his co-founder, slowly was shunted aside. Adam wanted the spotlight, and he wanted Rebecca to share the spotlight.
So Miguel, I never forgot about you, bro.
Hey, look. The two guys started the company, and then one of the guys' wives.
Like, oh, now there are 3 co-founders. There's Adam, Miguel, and Rebecca.
Adam felt that she had pulled him out of whatever spiral that he was in, and he gave her a lot of credence for that, and he really felt like she was
Well, it sounds like she just told him he was great, and he was like, man, I love that.
Yeah, there's something different about this woman.
She believes all my bullshit.
WeWork about the way they spent their money. Adam and Rebecca's spiritual advisor would speak to executives on a weekly basis. And
Just talk to the Dalai Lama.
was due to Rebecca.
Oh, no.
New York, hello WeWork, hello global citizens of this earth. You know what a global citizen of this earth is? It's a member of the we generation. And a member of the we generation does not discriminate with age, race, gender, or religion. If you're a member of the we generation, make some noise!
Lame.
Is also expanding its kind of diverse and sometimes confusing portfolio. It makes a bunch of acquisitions.
Yeah, this stuff.
We had this idea. Why don't we just invest money in companies to make impact? All the employees want to work for them. Everybody want to be part of it.
So he's just buying companies like that company makes waves, like makes wave pools, and he's just buying them up because he's like, oh, these are cool companies, and that's the other place where all this money's going. So he's investing in wave companies and yoga studios and
oh my god,
because he won't just go, I have a good idea right here. If I play this really smart, he goes, I have to be the most famous, richest man right now.
And I reached for my coffee, and I was like, oh, no, that's mine. And I was like, no, hold on, I got the cappuccino, like, that's a cappuccino. And Adam just looks really confused and upset. And one of the staff is like, oh, I'm sorry, we actually call those lattes and those cappuccinos here, pointing at the opposite one. It stood out to me as just like a strange, gratuitous reality distortion moment around Adam because he was ordering lattes but wants cappuccinos.
oh my god.
Trying to explain to him that he's wrong, they're just going to change the meaning of that word.
That's an amazing story. Like,
And they shifted from this little idea. They were like, okay, we're now going to tell you how to live.
We knew what he meant.
And now we're looking up. We grow. We're going to educate your kids better.
my eldest daughter.
What?
yeah, dude. Now they're opening schools.
Dude, no way.
Just try to do way too much. Like it really was like he's going for global domination.
Also, listen to this woman talk.
At some point, Rebecca was talking to the company about WeWork. She's talking in front of a cross-section of 700 employees and is basically saying that New York City private schools aren't good enough for our children. And then meanwhile, you're going to start a school that has like a 35, 40 grand tuition fee for elementary.
Yeah.
That school is exclusionary to a lot of people, right? That's just a prototypical person who's grown up in certain circles and doesn't realize there's other people anymore.
God damn it.
The idea
Like, oh, all of your cousins aren't Gwyneth Paltrow?
incredibly audacious to itself.
Because my cousin's Gwyneth Paltrow. And I make bad movies.
That's the kind of decision tree that you see in a company where you start to believe your own BS.
All right, welcome everyone to the School Greatest Podcast. We've got Rebecca Neumann.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. So, what is the mission of
Wow, that was amazing. It said founder and CEO under her name.
Wow. Elevate
the world's consciousness.
And expanding happiness.
Okay, and WeGrow is starting as a school,
Yes.
but it's going to be evolving much more.
It's kind of a practice and a new approach to life. We have started with children. But
It's a vibe.
It's a whole vibe, you know?
Don't make me describe it.
Really?
just for the moment, yeah, why not?
Get out of here.
I was working in WeWork and living
Well, that's your fault, August Urbish.
Yeah, man. Hey, your bish? Come on, man.
Your bish.
Putting all your eggs in the WeWork basket.
This strange impression of what it is.
You don't live a real life, man.
No, dude.
Very quickly, I had
The system works for kindergartners and you.
building.
When Adam had an investor coming through, we would know ahead of time or 10 minutes before, and we would be told, go into the space, just hang out, be casual, bring your laptop, and we would go there and activate the space.
You, take your top off.
Everybody should come, just so there's pockets of folks that are living the we live life, so Adam can come and sort of show it off.
Yeah, we're just all here living.
Juicy by Biggie Smalls, and they'd be playing a loop over and over again, waiting for that one moment when the investor came, so that when they walked the space, we were there.
That's really funny. It's just...
It has to be that one
It's
song.
like that one song loop. And stuff.
Couldn't you make a playlist? Has to be that song.
Community could be what it was growing into. And at a certain point, you're like, dude, just shut the fuck up, man. Like, we are just having a good time. Can we just hang out and have this drink and just talk about anything else?
No, dude. Elevating consciousness.
Really exhausting.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. That's what douchebags do. They exhaust you.
Let's talk about world domination.
Thing.
The initial clients of WeWork thought that they were members, but they were actually a resource from which WeWork could extract a reputation, and then they could sort of slingshot that reputation to get big corporations to think, we need to ask WeWork how to attract the best and brightest of this up-and-coming generation.
Well, do you have a tall man?
You do now. Hi, my name is Travis Nelson.
His excitement isn't so close to me.
If you guys have any kind of scam or anything, I'm a good talker too. I'm manipulative. Just
No heart.
Let me in on the ground floor.
No heart, no conscience.
Well, Jesus, bud.
I was just running with a bit.
I know.
Yeah.
You didn't say it on the podcast, though. You're blowing up my spot.
Just saying, man. I'm trying to shape you into...
No, I get it. You're right.
And then another employee walked by who was very peppy and very pretty. And he said, but you're not her. And he pointed at her and said, you could be, but you don't have the confidence that she has.
Whoa.
I went home and thought, what do I need to do to become a better employee here and become...
Cut yourself.
You're constantly in this fear of somebody else is going to take my job. I have to fight to stay here. Like, I felt constantly like I couldn't just breathe. I would say I could fire all of you and do this by myself. That's
Cool guy.
a statement to say to people who are working their ass off for you.
Good morning. Shalom. Shalom. I'm sure that there are lots of people here who know what WeWork is, who maybe have worked in one or several WeWorks. So I met Adam in Washington, D.C. for an event. My friends who worked at WeWork told me about him. And they just said this was one of the most charismatic, one of the most visionary and ingenious leaders.
Man.
Of any
Just imagine the usher leaning in like, he's a cult leader.
And I was just really curious, like, what does he understand about leasing real estate and subdividing it? Like, we're talking about one of the most boring business models in the world. And I was really curious to know what was behind it. It's fascinating to me about WeWork because
Turns out it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I love the interior decoration is, but there are lots of companies that make beautiful spaces, but they're not worth $20 billion, which is WeWork's most recent valuation. So I wonder, what do you consider to be your special sauce?
So first of all, excellent question. From the first day that we started WeWork, it was about bringing people together. As our mission, and our mission
And his answer was everything that we've heard in the last 2 years. It's that they were doing something special with the culture, that their special sauce couldn't be found in earnings or cash flow or revenue.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
That was the true distinguishing part of this company.
I heard on one of these things I watched or listened to about it, somebody described it as yoga babble, was like what he was using, and
Yeah.
I like that term. Like
I like yoga babble.
I wish I pressed him harder.
There's a scene in this movie called The Great Beauty. It's an Italian movie.
Mhm.
It's amazing where he's like
In the case of Adam Neumann, there were a lot of people
a critic, an art critic, and he watches this ridiculous woman do like a stupid art, like live art performance, and then afterwards he's interviewing her, and that's basically what he keeps like cut. He just cuts apart like all of her, yoga babble basically, and she just like falls apart. It's amazing.
Damn.
I didn't know for sure. I just harbored this doubt that said that this was all kind of a magic show.
So our first mission was for people to make it like those.
Yeah, man. He's really good at promoting himself.
Just exist. And now we have the POS, which is our operating system for physical spaces. And it's growing very fast, and it's everything from your entry system, you enter the building, but then how do you book a conference room, and how do you attend an event?
That's their technology, is booking conference rooms.
The entry system. Oh, you mean the doorway?
Yeah, that's the first real like. Oh, that's actually some technology, but it's very basic. Like, yeah.
So fast that it was being valued by investors as an ultra fast growth, low overhead technology company.
They created this sort of Facebook type platform for members where you could get people connected through technology.
WeWork has looks like it's an incredible LinkedIn icon, right? WeWork member network.
Yeah, I think it's just a message board or a group text. It sounds like.
Posting job opportunities and connecting with each other on the platform.
They had acquired a bunch of interesting technologies and were stitching together what might have been by far the most comprehensive tool for how people work.
We use beacon technology, but a lot of other aspects. We're using our video cameras to actually see where interactions are happening, and our entire process is built to make our members more successful.
That's crazy.
Well, those intentions are all great, but what you still do is office space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
But I think that, when companies are private, it's hard for us to know what's happening behind the scenes.
Oh, that's the thing too. So they're like, they get this huge estimate on what they're worth, but they're not a public company, so they don't have to share their records.
Wow, yeah.
They're not on the stock market.
They have $15.
Yeah, right. So as long as they're a private company, it's whatever he says,
WeWork painted themselves as this company that was growing extremely fast, and once people join, they don't really leave. But using data on the public web, we actually plotted the churn rate, which is how many people join and then leave. And we did see that the churn rate had increased, and this was accelerating.
Yeah, after you get 8 months free, I can see why you would leave after that.
When you call yourselves a technology company and you actually build a social network to help further paint that picture, if no one uses it, then you're not a technology company.
Hilarious.
Our next thing was, let's write a blog post and just share our findings. We really started taking off there. Then about 3 hours later, WeWork sent us an email asking if we could take down the blog post.
No.
Yeah, sure. As long as you ask. As long as you ask nicely.
Community manager stopped by our office.
With a gun.
You violated our membership happiness clause, and the kicker was she said you have 30 minutes to leave.
What?
The weight of our blog post and publication, we kept raising more money.
I first read about WeWork when they raised money in SoftBank at a $20 billion valuation. And at that point, they had about 200 locations. I went through and looked at the buildings that they actually...
They've been a company for like 5 years at that point. They had 200 locations.
Wow.
That the 200 buildings were each worth less than that WeWork office was being valued at.
Wow.
That WeWork was the most overvalued private company in the world.
Yeah, he he's in a lot of the stuff I've listened to. That dude just talked. And he's one of the early, like, hey, this is not what you think it is. And he kept getting caught in the thing of, like, he would say that it wasn't worth a lot, and then he'd get a huge investment, and people were like, this motherfucker didn't know what he's talking about. And it was like, he had to wait it out for people to realize he was actually right.
We can actually choose when to be profitable. We like to hover around the EBITDA, the break even, and then we can choose when we want to move, where we want to move. Right now, we're in a very high growth stage of our business, and we don't see that stopping anytime soon.
So EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization is sort of this accepted metric for how profitable a company might be. But WeWork started inventing their own financial metrics.
Oh, hilarious.
And central Hulu's
Vibes. It's all run on vibes.
It really is, dude.
was an attempt to say, we want to pretend
Do you know who Gwyneth Paltrow is?
They just
Here's Rick Ross.
that were ridiculous to strip out and say you're profitable. So suddenly they went from a loss-making company to a profitable company just by financial engineering. And
Yeah, it started in 2015. Like,
It's called a lie.
yeah,
Financial engineering.
that's the other thing that we've learned from watching all of these
larger and larger
dudes who
investors in the private markets.
are like committing fraud or
Never call it a
tanking these
lie. Call it something fancy.
It's always that they're so smart, but it's truly no, they're just liars. They just lie. They keep lying until they get caught. What's up, Miguel?
You seem happy, Miguel.
Miguel, you're the cool one.
I was proud to see the events.
I guess.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
I saw the change in Adam. I think it was money blindness. There's so much money behind us that nothing can happen, right? We've become untouchable in a sense. It started to feel like it was more just about business and not about this community that I grew to love over those many years. I think that's where I started to lose my creative juices for the company.
After my first
Not throwing us cool parties.
I tried to get out of bed during the second year. I sat down with one of the executives and explained to her that last year I went, I didn't enjoy myself, it's not for everybody, and please don't make me go again. And she kindly said, I see your point, but it's a mandatory event.
Wow.
Company outings are.
Have you heard of Gwyneth Paltrow? She made a candle that smells like her vagina. And that's the kind of weirdness you're dealing with here.
So let's just close our eyes for 1 second.
This is her less successful cousin.
The way these events worked was that you would go hear presentations for like almost 8 hours.
Yeah, like, do you know how angry it would make me to have to sit there and, like, listen to someone who has, like, no accreditations? Like, who is this person?
Yeah. It was just basically given everything.
I gotta go listen to Gwyneth Paltrow's cousin.
Yeah, just born on third base.
Hold each other's hands.
You are me, and we all are we.
We are we.
Address the crowd, talking about whatever word of the day.
Where's Miguel?
Like authenticity. And as we're sitting in the mud, I'm thinking, well, you forced me to come to this summer camp and sit in the mud. Nothing about this to me seems authentic.
We find a way to become a real family in this community and company. We could wake up one day and say we want to solve the problem of children without parents in this world. We can wait and do it within 2 years.
You just make them all sit there and listen to you do a podcast.
And from that we can go to world hunger. And there's so many topics that we
Yeah, man, let's fix world hunger with office rentals.
Talk about being president of the world.
What?
Would say things like that, and people would say,
Yeah, there's the Jesus complex thing.
it seemed really wild and crazy, but it was hard to make sense of what made sense in unicorn land.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the past and where we came from. We're not here by mistake. This was thought about and planned 10 years ago. And the funniest thing about it, from the day we moved to Brooklyn, Miguel and I were meeting right
I always knew this would happen.
planning for the future. We knew that whatever it is we're looking for,
A nice denim shirt, by the way.
moving forward,
Great shirt.
Looks like the founder and owner and founder of Levi Strauss.
Yeah, from the Jay Leno collection.
They knew that the valuation was high, but they thought that, you know, a winner-take-all in this market, like they had seen in other markets, would be so big that they could, you know, tolerate that valuation. But when there's sort of a critical mass of doubt coming back to SoftBank, what are the sovereign wealth funds who are the biggest investors in SoftBank's Vision Fund? What are they saying?
When you're raising $100 billion, you're going to the biggest deep pocket sources. So of course, also go, but he goes to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
My God.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's where SoftBank's money, some of that's in there.
Vision Fund, because he says, I'll get you in on the ground floor of the next generation of great tech companies that are going to rule the world. Give me $45 billion and I'll make you $1 trillion.
Also, not even a big point of this documentary, but not really psyched on the idea that tech companies are going to rule the world.
It's happening, man.
I know. It's already happening.
Diversify the technology, and what better way than the most renowned tech investor in the world who wants to play on the scale that you can play on.
The problem, however, is that you can't really get in on the ground floor at Facebook or Google or Amazon or Netflix. It's way too late. So you have Masa Son investing all this money in companies he's telling the world are tech companies, but aren't real tech companies.
And that's a lot of pressure to put on a team to say, pretty soon this company better be worth $100 billion. And at some point you have to have the numbers to back up that valuation. And that meant...
Yeah, that's the other weird thing about, like, all these startups is the whole, like, investment thing of, like, I'm just going to go out and get a bunch of people to give me millions of dollars, and then I'm just going to I'm not going to actually be making a profit. I'm just going to be using the millions of dollars that people gave me. And then hopefully in like 4 or 5 years, we're actually making money. But
yeah,
like that's such a weird model. And that's like just how things are now with like those type of companies.
Yeah.
It's Christmas Eve 2018. Adam is with his family in Hawaii, surfing, you know, relaxing. It's vacation time.
This is still 2018?
Yeah, I think so.
Masa and Adam were working on a plan that they were calling internally Project Fortitude. And it was essentially a plan for SoftBank to spend about $20 billion and become a majority owner of WeWork.
Oh my God.
Because of SoftBank's money and a lot of what Masa pushed Adam to do, they were spending as if they were going to have this deal done and burning so much capital to keep growing. There was this future hole coming that they were
Bro, somebody gave you $4 billion.
What'd you do with it?
Like, what the fuck?
How many years of dating Gwyneth Paltrow's cousin does that buy you?
Crashed both into a mountain, and that was the burn every week of this company.
And so kind of everything was working towards this goal of this SoftBank partnership.
There's something called the Nantucket sleigh ride, which is when you harpoon a whale, you're supposed to bring it into the ship. But occasionally, a Nantucket sleigh ride is when the whale takes you out to sea and you're stuck. You got to ride that whale out, even if that whale takes you to Greenland. Adam clearly thought he was taking Masa on a Nantucket sleigh ride, and that SoftBank had already committed so much money, they were already in, that they were kind of stuck. So the way Adam was running the company was the assumption that he had an infinite supply of billions to keep growing.
Adam had been convinced earlier in the month that this was going to happen, and the people doing the deal were essentially done. It was pencils down on sort of December 24th at WeWork. Everyone expected it was going to happen.
And then what happened?
Did you spend $4 billion and have nothing to show for it? But a wave company?
And a bunch of people who don't like you very much?
Sorry, I can't go through with it. The market's working against me. Investors don't like it. We just can't make it work right now.
When Masa decides he's not going to put that money in, Adam Neumann had a problem. Because he had nowhere else to go. Nobody else is going to write him a check because everyone knows SoftBank has the money. So if SoftBank's not putting in more money, there must be a problem.
Like it or not, they're going to need more money somehow.
Well,
It's really funny. I'm looking
Bring in Ashton Kutcher.
this last fundraiser. I actually think it's hilarious because for some reason there was an expectation that there was going to be like a $20 billion or $16 billion raise. It's a $6 billion raise. It's the second largest venture capital investment of all time. I'm an investor at Uber, so I know what the first largest one was. It's the second largest of all time. And SoftBank coming into this company. Now they have $10 billion invested in this company. So the notion that anybody is projected that they don't have confidence in the company, I think is crazy. I have confidence in the company. First of all, thank you, Ashton.
thank you, Ashton Kutcher. It's things like this that are why we are friends.
He brings along Ashton Kutcher as this pump-up guy.
Yeah.
And it was really disingenuous.
It's above and beyond what we need to fund the company for the next 4 to 5 years.
Adam was saying things that were completely false. WeWork was currently a bonfire of cash. And
Yeah, you look at Adam Kutcher or
Ashton
Kutcher's face looking at him.
Yeah, he's real skeptical.
He's like, "What'd you say? 45 years?"
Like, I think this dude is fucking me. I think this man has been given $10 billion now after a second investment, and he already has spent it all.
Just so we keep saying did not happen, just so we're clear. We never signed the deal. It's not that we signed the deal and something happened there. We were trying to figure out the best way to do it. But no, regarding an IPO, it's always been an option.
What's up with that big scratch on your face, man?
Oh, that was Gwyneth Paltrow's cousin.
What are you looking for?
I want to elevate the world's consciousness.
Okay. So then you can go
It's not the one or the other. When I feel that to achieve that mission, going public will help it, that will be the day.
Yeah, buddy. Go public. Let everybody know your finances.
Yeah.
Time to go to Wall Street.
no, I remember I was on vacation.
Yeah, we're about to get this. We're about to get into it.
Wonderful.
When someone sent me a link to it and I started reading the first few pages, I said, I apologize. I'm out for the weekend because this was just too good and I needed to read through this. It felt more like a novel written by someone who was shrooming than...
Wow.
An S1 is a form you have to fill out. It's a precursor to going public. It's a first introduction to your company, to the world, where you're representing that these are the facts. That means you gotta come clean. And there are a lot of details in there. And in WeWork's case, the devil was in the details.
So the first red flag was on page 1. It says, we dedicate this to the energy of we greater than any one of us, but inside each of us. I mean, for God's sakes, they're running fucking desks.
I love it.
With some friends, and then I get to a place where there's a little service. I just start getting these texts and emails, and it's like, WTF, and like, oh my God.
I like all these journalists were on vacation whenever this happened.
almost everyone you talked to had a different item that horrified them. So like one by one, they would say, I cannot believe his wife is choosing his successor, or it's so egregious that he would have his 20-to-1 voting shares, or I can't believe the company is paying him $6 million.
His wife chooses his successor.
Yeah, if he dies.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
He was buying buildings and then asking WeWork to lease those buildings from him. And then he took $700 million out of his company at the very time he was asking the public to put money in the company.
With many of these unicorn IPOs, the CEO was mentioned anywhere between 12 and 40 times. In the case of Adam Neumann, it was 170 times.
Whoa.
If you tell a 30-something male that he's Jesus Christ, he's inclined to believe you. Rebecca is very involved in the part of the document that people laughed at, and they were spending a lot of time in the Hamptons, and they had this sort of constant string of WeWork employees who would get a seaplane or helicopter to go out to the Hamptons just to meet with them on some IPO stuff. You just keep reading it and be like, my God, did anyone look at this and tell them what it was going to look like? The reality is that people hadn't
No.
done that for a while, but he didn't care. He thought that people would look past it, or he wanted to enrich himself and thought that it wouldn't be a big deal.
I'm telling you, nobody told him.
He
Yeah, I don't think he's a smart guy.
He has nothing but yes men around him.
Birthday celebration where he went to the Maldives to surf. You know, I think generally he was seen as more erratic and nervous, and in hindsight, he probably had a view that maybe this has gone too far. Him going surfing was a way of avoiding reality and keeping the highlights going as much as he could.
This company has just been savaged after its S1 came out. The price was come down.
Dropping, baby.
$7 billion dropped down to 10 to 15.
Every day now they're trying to come up with something to salvage this IPO, and I don't know if they're going to do it.
Oh.
Time to save the company, bro. Make a video. It's going to change this world.
Okay. This is harder than 20-foot waves. You know why? Because I control the 20-foot waves. Understand? I'll take a 20-foot wave every day for the next 10 days.
Oh, that must be so tough.
All right.
I control the waves.
Real estate is going through a fundamental shift. From a
We're talking about real estate.
The world was
Thought you was a technology company.
how egregious this company was. But Adam had to go public anyway.
Hilarious.
Period, you start marketing your shares officially to investors. It's called a roadshow. Kind of like a central part of the roadshow is a video that goes along with it. So they had filmed portions of it already. So theoretically, if he's just going to do his part of it, they can edit it in.
Fix custom. Adam kept delaying and even literally would leave rooms waiting, set up for him to come. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on shoots that Adam didn't go to.
What is that?
Kind of like it's procrastination, but you know, was there something deeper? I don't know of why you don't show up to film this thing. Finally, they start filming him, but that day he was just off.
Does it say that you need the sentences to be full for me? So whenever you have a big space like this, put that up there.
What's going on, bud?
If you see him, that he can't really read off the teleprompter, he struggles with that.
Yeah,
Can't really read.
I'm not a guy who reads from a script. That's the thing. To be totally free though, I'm doing word for word, so I'm gonna need to loosen it up a little bit.
And I think as the game wore on, it just went on and on and on and on. And he seemed more frazzled and wasn't getting through it, it wasn't making sense.
Based on our saber,
It just almost like dissolved the whole night.
the employees of all companies all need the same.
Yeah, the lighting doesn't even look the same. Like, it's clearly darker. Like,
He just didn't do a good job by everyone there. And I think a lot of people who were there were quite stressed. They're like, this has to get done, we're supposed to do this tomorrow. It's almost like, this is your worst nightmare.
This is who I am. This is what I do. I tackle something until it's right. I will not stop.
for real, man, we just need you to read like 4 or 5 sentences.
Okay, because we'll make sure they learn.
Can you read a paragraph on this camera? For
The next morning,
What's with that hands?
no, it's just not going to happen. You need to call it off.
Adam came into WeWork's office. He comes in, he's more dressed up than usual.
At what point do you all just start beating him?
Hands talk. And there, he basically told all the staff, this doesn't mean the IPO is off. Like, we're going to come back and this is going to be amazing. And we will do an IPO later this year. But, like, everything behind the scenes is beginning to happen to start to oust him.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
Time, it was less known that Adam was this totally erratic CEO that had sort of messianic statements and was doing things in a way that a lot of people would call crazy. And so we basically laid that out in the story. The signature anecdote, the thing that probably got the most attention, was how he took a plane trip with friends to Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Smoked pot on the plane.
What an idiot.
When you can land 2 rockets concurrently on barges and you smoke pot, you're seen as quirky and likable. When you don't go public and your investors lose money, all of a sudden they decide that smoking pot is a criminal activity.
Hilarious.
Once Ellie's article came out, he became pretty much untouchable on Wall Street.
Yeah, he does weed.
Is he barefoot?
Yeah, barefoot on New York City.
The urging of a lot of different people.
Adam Neumann is expected to step down as We company has $1 billion valuation to near bankruptcy in just 6 weeks.
Did you keep the company very uncertain at this point?
When I first heard about WeWork's financial collapse, I honestly did feel really, really sad for Adam, because it felt like he believed in what he was doing with every fiber of his being.
No, bro, that was him lying to you.
Suddenly in decline, the office-sharing company's new financial lifeline, giving its controversial co-founder Adam Neumann a $1.7 billion payout to step down, while the troubled company is reportedly planning massive layoffs.
Whoa.
Yeah, you heard that?
Whoa.
He got paid to step down.
More about it. That sadness turned to anger pretty quickly, because now all of a sudden it felt like this person lied to me, lied to a bunch of people.
He did, bro.
This beautiful way of working, this beautiful way of living. I felt angry at him for doing that, but I also felt angry at me for like buying the bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody honest about it. Yeah, it's like I was a fucking idiot for listening.
It seemed like we this, we grow, we live, we work, we. You know, it's got to be we, not me. It was we for everybody except for Adam.
She got a golden parachute worth $1.7 billion.
What a piece of shit.
The idea that there would be all this money given to Adam was demoralizing.
You know, that kind of sticks in your craw, particularly when you've been preached at about it's all about we. If that's your deal and you're sitting on all this money and you really believe in what you were saying the whole time, you should give some of the money back to help the employees who got screwed.
Did he?
I think what's frustrating about all of that is that when you focus the story on Adam, you miss how many people work really, really hard to bring this impossible vision to life who got nothing.
Yeah, and they did a good job.
Cared about WeWork a lot. They were invested in its success. They were invested in the community, and they were hurt financially, reputationally. Suddenly, this company that they spent years on is a laughingstock.
My mind was warped in such a way.
Well, folks, that'll never happen over at TravisNelsonComedy.com.
That's right.
To the moon.
To the moon. To the trying to improve the galaxy.
I thought, who is telling me the truth? I have done a lot of therapy to like navigate through what happened there. Why was I so devastated when it ended?
Because you invested your life?
Not that I
You got tricked and swindled.
Yeah, you fucking uprooted what you were doing to follow this
has been played on
liar.
You know, I think of myself as this
Dummy.
younger girl, and I want to say to her,
You're still super young, by the way.
do anything wrong. Like, you're valuable, and that company is not your worth. But because I felt like,
Yeah.
how am I going to change the world now? Like, I needed that.
Yeah, I don't really feel that bad for you.
Just a big old dreamer.
I needed to change the world. Like, I think financially you're doing okay.
All the friends that I made, all the relationships that I still have, all the people that I deeply care about.
He unified you
We've met outside of the We community.
by giving you someone to hate.
These are the people that I choose to remember, not the asshole that wrecked it.
Attaboy. I liked him. I mean, it's a big weirdo for moving into a WeWork space, but he seemed to accept it better than at least that girl.
Yeah, definitely.
The reason that maybe he resonates with people is because it felt like he was close. Clearly there was something about WeWork and something about Adam where maybe he could have pulled it off. It could have come together into something beautiful. But unfortunately, he set an example which maybe is harmful for other entrepreneurs to follow, or he's embodied the American dream in a way that worries us because it was so attractive and it was so intoxicating and yet had this disastrous result.
Yeah, too fast, too soon, man. That's all it was.
Failure with WeWork.
Yeah, you just had a narcissist at the helm.
Comments about WeWork that I hope continue to last.
For a minute, he could have opened up 15 of those things and just rented space and made millions of dollars a year and like have a great life. Like,
well, yeah, but you know, it's that or a $1.7 billion payout.
Right? Yeah, he didn't learn a lesson. He came out great. Yeah. Yeah, on the stuff that I heard he had to like pay back some stuff, and I heard that the number he ended up, I mean, it was still crazy. The number he ended up walking away with was like 200 million or something like that, which is still insane. But like, yeah, that 1.7, that's the first. This is the only one that I've heard that number on.
In a pandemic of lack of interaction, and I would give anything to like be consumed with people again.
Yeah, you just need to move. You just need to get into a cult. That's really what it is.
Or, you know, join like a sports team. Play some baseball.
Yeah. Got a little rec basketball going on.
Yeah, some soccer maybe.
Yeah, join a bowling league.
Yeah, man. Bowling.
I think we need that. We go back in time to the Greek town squares. It has existed forever.
Well, now you sound like him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's crucial to our survival as human beings.
Yeah, no shit. But that doesn't have... I don't know.
We don't have each other.
No one's arguing that point.
Hey, now we're in a pandemic.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, so that's the other crazy thing is like all that happened, but the company's not out of business. Like the company is still going, and like the SoftBank dude apparently like had to take it over, because he has so many investors he couldn't just give up on a investment he made.
Oh man.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, well, I guarantee you're not gonna be ready by 2021.
I wonder why.
What if there are multiple homes? Oh, here it is, yeah. God damn. Yeah, I can't wait for whatever his comeback's going to be. Because you know he's going to try to do something dumb again in a couple years.
Oh, my God.
And that one will probably be where he does something illegal and actually goes to jail.
Yeah, someone's going to die next
You know what I'm
time.
saying? Like, because he didn't, nothing had, like, that's the crazy thing about the story. Nothing really happens to him. He gets off, you know.
He's totally fine.
Yeah. You know, humiliation, but who gives a fuck? Like,
yeah, I mean, he's humiliated with $1.7 billion in his pocket.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I care so much what people think.
Yeah.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
God, that
Isn't that
dude
crazy?
sucks.
Yeah. It's just such a different way of watching a company collapse than the other stories that I've usually paid attention to with that.
You know what's funny is that, like, I know, like, that is so very much your shit, that documentary. Man, that shit bums me out.
Yeah, I know.
I had such a hard time watching that whole thing where it's just like, my God, people, come on.
Yeah, bro. You know what I think it is? I think it's because whenever I was like 19, I worked for like an insurance company, but they had a little bit of this in it where there was like a lot of retreats, and I saw a lot of that like firsthand. But I was a child. That was my other thing, because we would go to retreats and people would go up and talk about how they were going to make millions of dollars selling life insurance and changing the world and helping people and stuff. And so that's where I initially had that like my antenna up for that type of bullshit, because it happened very early, you know. But yeah, I saw I definitely worked for like a version of this at one point.
I don't think, maybe except for my very first job ever, I don't think I've ever had a job that fed me any kind of hope like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think every job of mine was like, we are exploiting you.
Yeah. No, I worked, Primerica was the name of the insurance company, and it was backed by Citibank. And that was their big thing. We could all be millionaires. We were all going to be millionaires, and they sold that to us. And we can make our own schedules. You work when you want. Be a billionaire.
Have you ever been in like a union at all?
No.
See, that was my thing. Is I was in like labor unions right out of high school, so I always had such a fucking attitude about working and getting fucked over, because that's just like how I was kind of taught. All those guys like,
can't trust these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'll be paying us double whatever we're getting, and you know, like all that shit. So I don't know. It's just different ways of viewing it, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, man. That's the word, baby bird.
You're goddamn right it is. You guys, I hope you enjoyed watching WeWork. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's get this shit to 700. I'm trying to get to 753 to get over Mike Mazzotti, who's featured on my channel. So follow me and don't follow him.
Go get him.
You can follow him after I pass him, but that's where we're at right now. All right. Love you guys. Kiss babies, pet puppies, and think about us in your dreams.
Bye.
Thank you.